Mali is a large country located in Western Africa. It is the 24th largest country in the world at approximately 1.25 million square kilometers, and it is bordered by Guinea, Senegal, Mauritania, Algeria, Niger, Burkina Faso, and the Ivory Coast. Our non-governmental organization, Saving Mali, focuses on improving the education, healthcare, and agricultural systems of Mali. Mali has one of the lowest literacy rates in the entire world. The literacy rate of the general population is 34%, however males have a 43% literacy rate and women have a 25% literacy rate. There are also several issues with the healthcare system in Mali. In 2002, only 65% of the country had access to safe drinking water and 69% had access to any form of sanitation. Mali has an extremely high maternal death rate and child mortality rate. There are only 3 midwives per 1,000 live births, which increases health risks. In Mali, 80% of employment is in agricultural jobs, even though only the southern region of the country consists of arable land. Mali ranks 5th in lowest literacy rates in the entire world, with only 34% of the population being literate. Only 43% of the adult male population and 24.6% of the country's women can read and write. Furthermore, after primary schooling, roughly 2/3 of the population never receives any form of secondary schooling. To increase the literacy rate and improve overall education among children and young adults, Saving Mali will implement various programs improving facilities, creating affordable education systems, and providing trained teachers. A huge problem hindering the educational system in Mali is the lack of schools in rural areas. Most schooling is in urban parts of the country, making it nearly impossible for families living in rural areas to send their children to school. Our NGO will spend $200 million to build improved schools that are more accessible to those living in rural areas. With more schools in accessible rural areas of Mali, more children will attend schools and receive higher levels of education. Subsequently, education in Mali is often unaffordable. The cost of books, school supplies, and other related fees prevents many children from furthering their education. Our organization will spend $100 million to provide books and other learning supplies to families and children in need of financial assistance. $50 million will be used towards incentives to keep children enrolled in school. We will offer incentives such as free school lunches, free vaccinations, and scholarships to ensure that Malian children attend and stay enrolled in school. Mali also lacks adequately trained teachers. Saving Mali will use $50 million to relocate and pay trained teachers from more developed countries. Programs will also be set up to further educate and train Malian citizens as future teachers. In addition, our program will encourage females to become teachers in order to eliminate gender-related issues within the country. More female teachers will also improve female student enrollment and graduation rates. Saving Mali will also address the health issues within the country. Mali has a life expectancy of 54.6 years, an improvement from 25 years ago when the average life expectancy was 43 years. The low life expectancy is a reflection of the poor standards of healthcare facilities. Bamako, Mali's capital, has 2 large hospitals, and there are hospitals in other main towns and cities. Medical services across the country lack equipment, medicine, and qualified staff. In 2009, there were only 729 registered physicians in Mali, which is less than 1 doctor for every 10,000 people. $250 million will be used to improve Mali's healthcare systems through further development of current medical facilities and the construction of more hospitals and clinics in areas that are accessible to a large portion of the population. $150 million will be used to fund training programs for midwives in order to lower infant, maternal, and newborn mortality rates. Many Malian women do not go to hospitals to give birth, so the conditions of facilities are very poor. Something as simple as knowing how to use a sterile knife or a blade to cut an umbilical cord could save countless lives. A midwife's job includes prenatal care and continues into newborn care, breastfeeding, and family planning. Training programs will make midwives more accessible in rural communities, and they will have improved knowledge and skills. This will lead to lower death rates among mothers and infants. Mothers and children are not the only people in Mali who could benefit from these training programs. Increased knowledge of contraceptives and family planning can benefit males because it lowers STD infection rates. High birth rates, high fertility, and unintended pregnancies contribute to the poor health conditions in Mali, and the training we will provide will lower the health risks of having children in Mali. In Mali, agriculture represents 80% of employment and about 37% of gross domestic product. However, there are still many issues surrounding agriculture in this country. Improving the agricultural sector of Mali holds great potential to boost the economy and improve the health of Malians. Large portions of the country are not irrigable, meaning that there is no water supply available to grow crops. Severe drought is common in the northern portions of Mali, and almost all the country struggles with poor soil quality and erosion. $75 million will be spent to improve the soil conditions in the irrigable portions of Mali. This will be accomplished through the introduction of nitrogen-fixing trees and cover crops, as well as the improvement of water management practices by providing materials to collect rainfall and drilling centrally located community wells. The Sikasso region of Mali is the most agriculturally productive, so this agricultural program will be concentrated in the southern Sikasso region of Mali. This agricultural program will also focus on the Timbuktu region of Mali to utilize inland lake areas to grow crops such as rice. Through the introduction of sustainable farming techniques, there will be an increase in crop yields and therefore lower rates of malnutrition in Mali. The ongoing conflicts in parts of Mali are threatening the country's food sources because of the displacement of farmers. $10 million will be spent on setting up the agricultural programs near areas with internally displaced persons and refugees. By providing displaced farmers with the basic needs to resume agricultural activities, there will be an increase in food supply within the country of Mali. This in turn helps with the malnutrition and hunger issues in Mali. The agricultural sector of Mali is dominated by the subsistence farming, which is the practice of farmers growing just enough food to support themselves and their families. This makes it difficult and unaffordable for families who do not grow their own crops to obtain food. $15 million will be spent to open the microfinance programs in Mali so all families have the option to grow their own crops. This helps us guarantee price stability and a consistent food source for all Malian families. $75 million will also be spent to teach sustainable farming techniques to families new to farming. Finally, $25 million will be spent to set up the trading programs within Mali. This will allow for crops to be transported to the northern portion of Mali where growing crops is near impossible. This will provide a consistent food source to help people living in northern Mali, and it will allow for economic prosperity. In accordance with the African Education Program, Mali Health, and Feed the Future, Saving Mali will improve several aspects of Malian life by addressing the issues in the educational, healthcare, and agricultural sectors.